I've heard people say that too much of anything is not good for you.
How long did you two date before you got married?
We dated just about 2 years.
We dated a year, and then we were engaged a year.
Took her back to the same restaurant where she and her girlfriend met me, and I asked her to marry me, and basically the same table.
Same date.
And I had gone out and I'd spoken to her parents who were in New Jersey, and I had asked her fathers for her hand. I did this in a very traditional fashion.
You called them, right?
I did.
You called them.
That was my cat, Toby, jumping through there. And he's very athletic.
So we basically dated 2 years.
How did you resolve conflict?
Oh, that's a hard
Well, that's a tough one, because conflicts come up, and they come up in a big way. And usually you talk it out, and occasionally you devise a scheme about how to resolve it. I mean, sometimes you can do that. But oftentimes what it means is just sitting down sometimes and putting out the pluses and the minuses on any argument. If we do A, what's going to happen? If we do B, what's going to happen? And then sit down and try to make a rational decision.
Yeah. Not to say we don't fight. We do fight. We do fight.
We do?
We do. We both have very strong personalities. You know, sometimes we're both, I would say, type A, and we're both, you know, what do they say? A family with no Indians and all chiefs. We're kind of both the chiefs, so that's been a struggle.
That's very politically incorrect.
Politically incorrect,
Yeah.
but that's, you know, we both.
Toby's needy.
We both have very strong personalities, and we don't back down easily.
Here's a secret for you.
And
You want to get married to someone you're happy with, marry someone who's similar to you, not different. This opposites attract business is just the stuff of movies. It's not true.
Your
During
dad's
your
gonna have the
31
cup.
years of marriage, what have been your biggest challenges you had to overcome?
I'd say just issues on child rearing and issues on making sure that our families meld together, because sometimes one family will want us for something and another family will want us for something else. Those are big issues, what you do with in-laws and what you do with your children. These are issues that have to be decided, and you have to be of one mind on that. I think those are the big issues. What do you think?
well, I don't really disagree. I was just saying that I felt that that having both sides of our families, that I would have to really enjoy being with his family. He would have to enjoy being with my family. Because when I was growing up, I didn't have that. My parents didn't have that in their marriage, and that was a major, major source of conflict. That my dad did not get along with his wife's parents, and my mom did not get along with her in-laws. And that was a source of conflict, because one side dominated over the other, and I didn't get to know my dad's family as well as I should have. And that was a big source of conflict. And your dad knew, or Mr. Leonard knew, that from the beginning, that I had always said that he would have to really, not have to necessarily love my family, but really enjoy them and want to spend time with them. And that was a prerequisite. I don't care how much I loved anybody, if that person couldn't enjoy my family and I couldn't enjoy their family, it wasn't going to be a marriage. Because a marriage, in my estimation, is just the beginning of the larger family, which had to include his family and my family. And if it doesn't work, it wasn't going to work in the marriage, because I saw it not work, and it was very destructive.
And you can make all the jokes you want about mother-in-law or mothers-in-law and things of that nature, but if you've really got a problem with your in-laws, it's a big problem with your family. The other thing is, the biggest thing I think in terms of marriage that you got to remember is that when a man marries a woman, he doesn't want her to change. He marries this young, attractive girl and figures she's never going to change. He's wrong. She's going to change. She's going to pop out a baby or two. Everything's going to change. And then the woman marries the man thinking he's going to change. She's wrong, because he isn't going to change as much as she wants him to. So your expectations create a major conflict in a marriage. If you have expectations for change or no change, you may be disappointed. So you better look very carefully at who you got and be a little bit flexible in your relationship, because otherwise you're gonna have problems.
Yeah. And take time, not rush into anything. I mean, in the 2 years that we were together, we lived through law school and passing the bar. We had to change location. We moved from San Diego to Los Angeles. We really didn't like Los Angeles, so we had to deal with that source of problem. So we had a lot going on those first 2 years. Our careers were both starting, and we were very, very busy. I was going to graduate school, and so I mean, there's a lot going on. So.
And every fight, it's easy when you're brand new as a couple to walk away.
Yeah.
I mean, you're used to it. You've only been together for 6 months, a year, or whatever. Every fight becomes very big. And so it's very easy to do that. You have to be flexible and you have to be tough and stick with it. That's not going to be tough because it's hard living with somebody else. And, you know, I realize it's very easy for Nancy living with me, but it's tough to live with somebody else.
And you have to be willing to get help. I mean, if you feel like you need a marriage counselor, I think that's important that you both get help that way. I mean, you have physical ailments, you go to the doctor, or if you have problems in your marriage, you go to a doctor. And I think that's really important.
But the big issues, religion, for your kids, religion, what your thoughts are with reference to marriage, raising a child, how you want to live your life, those are big issues.
And money.
And money, big issues.
Money is a big issue.
And if you got somebody that's a spendthrift and the other one isn't, that's a big issue. So these are all issues you got to decide. It's the biggest decision you make, and it's the most expensive decision you make. A marriage is more expensive than buying a house. Believe me, over the course of time, it is. And the second most expensive is having children. But it's important that you take your time and really think this through, because you'll spend weeks maybe looking over stock before you buy it, but you don't spend any time looking at the woman you're going to marry, and that's crazy.
Oh, man.